This was kind of wild to see. I know nothing really about VAllure. I don't really pay attention to like fucking sexual ASMR VTubers. I'm not the target audience. It's not my kind of content. So it's like I have nothing good or bad to say. I'm like completely fucking neutral. But this Vice article, these VTubers want you in their lewd game. You might want to pass. LewdTuber agency VAllure is set to bring on its Gen 2 talent. You could even be in a lewd video game, but you might not want to join. And this is an article by Anna Valens. Keep that name in mind. Auditions open today for the world's most popular adult VTuber or LewdTuber voice acting agency. Are they the most popular? Again, I don't follow this kind of content, so I wouldn't know. Melody's the most popular in your opinion? Yeah, but they said it's the most popular adult VTuber voice acting agency. And I wouldn't say VShoho is an adult VTuber voice acting agency. I also wouldn't call VAllure a voice acting agency. I would just call it a VTuber company, but like, that's just me, man. If you grab one of the 5 coveted spots for Gen 2, you might just get to star in an adult video game. But don't fill out that audition form quite yet! Despite VAllure's offer of an 80-20 revenue split, equipment funding, fast popularity, and your very own live 2D model, the agency seems to be stumbling into one controversy after another. VAllure messed up with trans talent early on. Okay. VAllure originally made a splash in the VTuber landscape after the company debuted its announcement trailer in December 2023. Finally, an AVTuber agency for lewd voice actors across the English-speaking industry. Yippee! Even I was excited at the time, writing that VAllure offers a really good deal to talent and promises more visibility to LewdTubers across the industry. To be clear, what VAllure offers in theory is great. New and semi-experienced voice actors, adult models, and VTubers are encouraged to apply to the company in exchange for significant agency support. Equipment, editing, and script writing are all provided to the talent, along with an agency-created VTuber model and personality. Talent slips into the role they're given and stream on YouTube along with creating adult ASMR. In early 2024, VAllure seemed like a fantastic opportunity for new talent to spread their wings and soar. However, trans VTubers started to have misgivings about VAllure during the Gen 1 audition process. VAllure's audition requirement said that the company only wanted quote-unquote female talent, with no additional clarification. I feel like to anyone operating in reality, a company wanting female talent would not need additional clarification. Female can mean a lot of things. I hate Clown World so fucking much. It can mean anyone who identifies as a woman. Chat, do you remember when they were saying woman is a gendered, female is the biological role, so it's inherently different. When you say female, you're talking about the biology, but when you say woman, well, a woman can be anything, you know, depending on your identity. And now, they keep undoing themselves by being like, well, female can mean a lot of things now. Like, actually, once I transition, I am biologically female. And it's like, hold on there, brother. It can also mean someone born with a specific set of genitals. This quickly left trans VTubers confused. Why female instead of woman? Because this was a nice way of saying something specific to people who live in reality. We figured this was just a minor point of linguistic confusion, so a number of us reached out for clarification last year to clear the air. I'm sure a number of them reached out not for clarification, but in order to see how much they could take this company down a notch by being transphobic. But we never heard back. Not in emails, not in tweets, nor with a public statement. Nothing. That is the only correct move this company could have made. Trans talent quickly feared the worst. Trans women weren't welcome, and VAllure was going to dodge the question by leaving the answer murky. Considering the overwhelming audience to female lewd ASMR is probably straight men. I'm going to wager that these straight men probably don't want other men whispering lewd things into their ear and making sloppy blowjob noises with their mouth. I like... Glad to be here before the author of the article shows up in chat and demands a chance to defend themselves on stream. Yeah, imagine talking to a Vice journalist. I would rather actually just be in a cam whore show. As a straight man, you're correct. That's very bigoted of you. Oh god! Not Lolicon, VTubers! Time passed, and VAllure finally debuted its Gen 1 models. And Jesus Christ, what the fuck? 1/3 of Gen 1 looks like children. Yes, children! I'm gonna go on a limb and say that they're only saying this because they know it's a popular talking point to denigrate people on social media right now. It's very popular to just call anyone and everyone a pedo, especially if they're anime adjacent, regardless of my feelings on having a character that looks a little too young doing lewd ASMR, right? Removing my personal feelings from that entirely, I don't think this person would be writing about the Lolicon VTubers if they had gotten a positive response that they were looking for from this company. The first and third most popular VTubers in VAllure are Lolicon, or characters made to look like prepubescent girls. The company calls these models Lollipop. Although the agency's most popular star, Imi Bijou, pretty openly goes around calling herself a lolly, everyone knows Imi and her fellow Lollipop star, Icy Snowpaws, are leaning into Lolicon viewership. One Redditor even said he was thankful for that because there's not a whole lot of lolly VTubers that actually lean into that fetish. It's because it's a pretty dangerous ground to tread, but like... The agency has 2 lollies at the moment, and it plans to unveil 2 more lollies for Gen 2. It means 33% of VAllure will be made up of VTubers that appeal to a desire for underage girls. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that the women who are voicing these characters are fucking adults. I'm gonna say that all of these women are probably over the age of 18. I haven't heard any instances of them being underage, and usually when people find underage VTubers, it blows up on Twitter pretty fucking fast. So I feel like if they did have an underage VTuber, we would have fucking known, especially because they are a lewd organization. It would have been a massive fucking firestorm. Correct, they're not underage. Who could have guessed? Who could have seen this coming? Adult women fetish bros, stay winning! Imagine having an adult woman fetish. How could you do this? You absolute degenerate. 410 adults do exist. They do. They do. Won't somebody think of the fictional characters? Imagine adult content made by adults! Imagine the horror! She was 25. She was 25 years old, but only 4'9", you sick fuck! There was a tweet going around recently of like a woman without makeup on and then a woman like with makeup on, and someone quote retweeted it and they were just like, oh, you only like the woman without makeup because she looks more childlike. And it's like, brother, the makeup of consent has hit the tower. Like, actually just losing my mind at how overused like pedophile has become online. It is become just as worthless of a term as Nazi. Pedo is like the fucking rights version of Nazi. It's lost all meaning, and pedo just means someone I don't like. They just keep on telling on themselves. The makeup of consent. As an adult woman who doesn't wear makeup, man, I must be pedo baiting all over the place when I go outside to buy my groceries. To be clear, adults are performing these characters. However, the lolly VTubers are creating explicit sexual content as their characters and proudly flaunting it. Okay, all right. Do I have to bring up Azure Lane again? Do we have to bring up the difference between like a petite character and an actual child? Are we gonna have to loop that again, man? Imi Bijou's page has adult ASMR with tags such as jerk off from behind, blowjob cleanup, pussy licking, and ass eating. Is it her ass getting eaten, or is she eating the listener's ass? Because, like, man ass kind of hairy, kind of gross. As a straight woman, I never want to think about eating a man's ass. You know, like, is she moaning because the listener's eating her ass? Because, like, that would be good, right? Maybe she's eating her own ass. Oh my god, can we get the hella flexible ASMR of her eating herself out? Now I have to investigate for reasons. Emmy leans into the incest content too. I mean, there's a niche for that. Look at Andy and Lele. Icy creates content with tags such as foot bros eating good. The feet pics in the chat, dudes. Femdom, ball sucking, and anal. Oh, ball sucking is always, it always gets me as like a little funny, right? Because like there's always that line between, you know, it feels good and then the guy is in intense pain. One sexually suggestive image created by an Amy Bijou fan was purposefully designed to make her model look particularly underage, writing on Twitter that the image is literally illegal in the EU and can't be viewed. I'm gonna guess they mean Germany, because Germany's weird like that. But also, I guess it depends on what the art looks like, right? Like, if it literally looks like a child, I'm gonna be like, that's kind of fucking gross, man. Why would you do that? But if it's literally just her being petite, who the fuck cares? Alright, who the fuck cares? Fuck the EU! Like, guys, like, I don't know. As a functioning human, I can tell the difference between a child and a petite woman. Counter-signaling Lolly lost at the ballot box, little bro. True and real. True and real. And also, how can you attribute like what the fans do to Bijou herself? Like I've had people make crazy fucking artwork of me, right? I've had people make like Bowberry tier inflation artwork. I've had people make like Kirsche covered in neo-Nazi tattoos at the fucking trials in Berlin artwork, right? Like, how can you attribute what they do to me, as it were? Base? It's not her fault. She's petite Patanko. Yeah, right? Twitter reportedly sent the artist a message warning that the content was banned from the platform in the European Union for pornography or sexualized content. Emmy responded by saying, "I'm just too sexy." That's the correct response! She responded correctly! There is no EU-wide ban on Lolicon material. However, various European countries have laws that criminalize the sexual depiction of underage characters in artwork. Ohio State University's Shari L. Savage argues that the proliferation of eroticized girl imagery in visual culture seen in anime, music videos, and other popular media outlets further tantalizes and at the same time normalizes due to numerous available representations. Okay, Shari Savage. All right, Mr. Savage. All right, Miss Savage. Let's talk about sissy hypno. Images do hold the power to tantalize and move consumers to action. If images did not hold power and influence and consumers could readily resist advertising, image-laden advertising would not be a billion-dollar industry, Savage writes in one study. Sexual predators have also convinced children that sex with adults is normal, using the images in erotic lolicon content to say, this is how you practice with adults. Have they? Have sexual predators convinced children that sex with adults is normal? You know, that's kind of interesting. Almost like if you convince a child that they're able to make life-lasting decisions about their sexual organs when they're still children, they might be able to consent to other sexual scenarios. That's an interesting thing to say, dear author, sir, or ma'am. I don't know which one you are. Trans girls, I guess you can be a lolly now. What do they mean by now? What did they mean by now? A year later, VAllure is now prepping for its Gen 2 audition run, which starts today. Talent are promised the exciting opportunity to voice act in a lewd video game, likely performing as the VTuber models created by the adult agency. Along the way, new talent will likely pop up in video games by the agency's viewers. A twin-stick shooter fan game, The Endless Stream, is already out with Gen 1 cast. Naturally, VAllure's Gen 1 team decided to host an audition advice stream for their potential Gen 2 sisters. And that's when a second bout of controversy blew up for VAllure over social media. Are you saying that after you tried to reach out to them about hiring men and they ghosted you, you tried to do it again, but in a more public manner because they were giving advice on stream? Is that what you're saying? You were participating in like A-logging behavior so that you could write a hit piece about them? Is that where we're going here? Because like your history, dear Anna, definitely points to that being what you wanted to do. On Saturday's stream, so you want to be a whore, eh? The VAllure team finally addressed whether trans women can apply to the agency. The answer is yes. However, there are caveats. Maybe. Once again, communication is not VAllure's strong suit. I mean, all humans are pretty bad at communication, for one, and for two, they're in a corpo, so they kind of have to balance what they're allowed to say publicly and what they can't. During the stream, talent Shibby Cottonbum stressed VAllure will accept transgender talent as long as they go by female pronouns, live life as a woman, and sound like a woman. Oh, that's where she fucked up. That's unlucky. The Gen 1 team laughed as the issue was discussed. At one point, Shibby said transgender talent asking about the issue should shut the fuck up. Is there a clip of this, chat? Because I just don't believe them. If said fucking based, but also I just don't believe this fucking smear merchant, right? Oh no, she said the wrong thing. What the fuck? I love VAllure now. Rima saw it and it was a joke. I have one of Rima's tweets pulled up because Rima did a good like quick rundown of this Anna person being fucking crazy to them. They keep saying all the right things. There's a clip, but it's misrepresented. Azehara, do you have the clip so I can watch it? Like I said, I'm sure this is misrepresented because this Anna person is a smear merchant, but I would like to see the clip for myself if you have it. All right, Azehara provided us with the clip.
New time set. I think I'll rewind it too much.
We are looking for female talents. Oh, but what if I'm... Shh! Shut the fuck up! You go by female pronouns. And you live life as a woman. Do you sound like a woman? Okay, we don't care about anything else. They're free to apply, ho. Males?
That just sounds like someone who's like tired of having to answer the fucking question. Cause like, I'm sure that gets asked pretty often. But noise-based once again. Thank you, Azehara, for providing that context. We love to see it. Sound like a woman, she knew what she was doing. Yeah, like, that's the nicest way you can phrase it. But I say that's where she fucked up because this is exactly what someone looking to make a hit piece is looking for, right? Like, she said the rightest thing that she could. This was like the nicest way of phrasing it, but even then, she went a step too far for the smear merchants. As I mentioned during my own discussion stream over the weekend, the 1-year delay on the topic and the insensitive tone during the advice stream revealed an extreme level of unprofessionalism toward VAllure's transgender colleagues. Now, again, we're dealing with a smear merchant, so it's very possible that VAllure has transgender colleagues, but based on their responses and based on the audience being overwhelmingly male and them doing female for male lewd audio, I feel like this is them trying to put like a nugget in the article to make the audience who watches VAllure question if these girls are actually girls, which is a fucked up thing to do. For trans talent who considered applying to VAllure during Gen 1, at least prior to the debut of aforementioned Lolicon models, yeesh. The lack of communication towards trans VTubers was a clear sign that the company was not prepared for the professionalism and maturity required from an adult company. What about the professionalism and maturity required of a journalist, even? Don't get me wrong, it's great VAllure does, in fact, allow trans women to work with the team, but even then, its standards are still very strict for trans performers. What does it mean to sound like a woman? Is VAllure willing to accept trans women like myself? I feel like they dodged a bullet and we'll go through why. Even though I have a feminine voice, I'm often clocked as trans during streams and in ASMR comments. Also, I got some bad news. Even though I have a feminine voice, I'm often clocked as trans during stream. I would say there's a difference between effeminate and female, you know? Would I lack the right credentials to sound like a woman? In other words, do they want trans talent or do they want trans women who sound specifically like cis women? Trans women who pass for cis women and could, if necessary, hide their gender identity. VAllure never clarified these specifics during the stream, essentially putting trans talent right back to square one. How does VAllure really feel about trans women? All right, I'm gonna hold on, chat. I need to do some method acting. Okay, here's a Reddit Gone Wild audio script. All right, here we go. Mature content. Yes, I'm over 18. Okay. All right. So, I'm not trans. Shocker, chat. I know, it's crazy. I am a biological woman, and I sound like a fucking leather-clad butch lesbian because of my Boston debuff, okay? All right. If I'm reading a script in an audition, and I'm like, you know you can talk to me about anything, right? If something's bothering you, I'd like to know what it is so I can help. I'm on your side, remember? Just tell me what's wrong. Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, I can see a lump in the blanket. Is that what you're embarrassed about? You didn't want me to know that you got hard just by cuddling me? Baby, come here. I know you're embarrassed. You don't have to turn around, but at least let me spoon you, okay? If I'm out here like, yeah, when you get home from work, I'm gonna lick your hard cock. I'm sure VAllure would throw my fucking audition in the trash, right? Like that's just not what people are normally trying to listen to, right? Like their accent 10 out of 10. I want your cock, you know, like. There's a very niche appeal, all right? Like, I'm sure some people are, like, furiously rubbing one out thinking about their Bostonian lesbian biker woman coming home from work and beating them into submission, you know? They're wearing the apron at home. They're the house husband. I'm sure there's a niche for that, but, like, typically, the company's gonna want to make money. So if I sent in an audition with my Boston-ass accent, they'd be like, what the fuck is this? What do you expect us to fucking do with this? Right? Like, so if I wanted to join and I wanted to do this, I would have to try and more sound like the part. I mean, the voice actor may have to act the part. Clearly that's transphobic. Yeah. So like, if I'm gonna try to audition, I'm gonna have to be like, you know you can talk to me about anything, right? If something's bothering you, I'd like to know what it is so I can help. I'm on your side, remember? Just tell me what's wrong. Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, I can see a lump in the blanket. Is that what you were embarrassed about? You didn't want me to know that you got hard just from cuddling me? Oh, baby, come here. I know you're embarrassed, so you don't have to turn around, but at least let me spoon you, okay? Right? Like, I would have to, like, fucking act like I wanted to get into the fucking company, right? John Twitch, don't ban her! Yeah, I couldn't talk about licking your cock in that voice. I might get banned. Oh my god, 5 out of 10. Prefer the Boston. Do the Valley Girl. My soul is yours. Actually, I don't think that I would lick your cock because, you just can't afford it. You can't afford to take me out on the dates and, like, give me the lifestyle I deserve. So these lips are not going on that cock. Too real! Back to the article here. How does VAllure really feel about trans women? And then, of course, comes the issue of pronouns and transition. Not every woman uses female pronouns. Well, that's who they want to hire for their company. They want people using female pronouns. So, like, why are you trying to play this, like, weird gotcha? Cis, trans, and non-binary women commonly use pronouns other than she, her. That's true. If you look at my YouTube page, my pronouns are He, him lesbians are out there. No. So are women who use they, them. And what does it mean to live life as a woman? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of men in dresses who keep trying to tell us what it means to live as a woman, so why don't you explain it? Why don't you be the one to explain that one? Do you have to socially transition IRL and present as a woman? Do you have to stream with a female presenting model X amount of times? I'm not a straight male. And I don't like watching female models that have a male voice coming out of them. I bullied Bagman for it all the time. Until he finally shed his woman skin. He finally was not going to build a hole and trap women inside of it to skin them alive. And so I can only imagine straight men would have an even larger feeling towards that, especially if it's someone talking about sucking their dick, as it were. Oh, God. Rip fembag. These questions may seem silly and dumb to VAllure's performers, but they are serious considerations for trans talent running a VA business. Just apply somewhere else? Like, if you think that the people at this company aren't going to treat you well, why do you wish to be a part of it? Or is this entirely just complaining to try and make the company look bad? Auditions take time. More specifically, they take time away from streaming or ASMR work. Why work hard on something that will lead to an instant rejection? Agreed. If you don't like the response they gave you about whether you can apply or not, why waste your time with that kind of company? I feel the same way if I'm talking to someone who's going to give me a wishy-washy answer about whether they would want to work with someone who's a potential brand risk like me. It's like, I can understand if I'm a brand risk, but I would like you to be straight up and talk to me about these things. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when people are just like, I can't do that because there would be too much backlash. Because it makes me feel like they're going to capitulate to people that don't necessarily spend a ton of money in the first place. And like, even talking to my mythic talent manager, he's just like, you punch way above your weight class for where you are. And so pitching you to companies, regardless of the brand risk, is going to be much easier because of that. And that's, again, all thanks to fucking you guys. You guys are beautiful little babies. Holy shit, man, you're a dude. You guess, what? Don't fucking apply to agencies that want women. Whoa, what a surprise! How about find an agency that doesn't only want women? I wonder if someone's eventually going to be like, this is Civil Rights Act discrimination because these VTuber corporations don't want to hire men. Ironically, by addressing the controversy poorly, VAllure has taken one step forward but 2 steps back. I guess trans women can be lollies if they sound feminine enough. Yes, that was the whole point. That was also my illustrated point as a non-trans woman, as a biological woman. If I apply and I don't have a voice that fits, like, what they're doing, I'm not gonna get accepted. Like, that's not an insult to me. I'm just not what they're looking for. Kirsche wants a straight answer. I like my answers like I like my men. Heterosexual. If anything, you think this article will just make them more popular? Oh, absolutely. People are kind of sick of this weird smear merchant shit. If you try hard enough, you might just get a trans-inclusive fan who draws fan art of you that's banned in various European countries. Yeah, that's how you know you've made it. Can we get more questionable artwork of me that would be banned in Germany? Like if someone in German like looks at this artwork of me, they'll get arrested for wrongthink. Oh, and there's a ban on lesbian content. The second and more baffling controversy is VAllure's policy on lesbian ASMR, or female for female. In short, there's a female for female ban, as the company has a specific method focused on appealing to straight men. When asked whether the company was open to content beyond female for male, VAllure head Strony Cuddle said straight up no. Female company who provides sexual audio has overwhelmingly male audience. More news at 11. Also water. Is it wet? Like, the only way I could see them doing, like, female-focused content is if they were fetishizing it for a straight male audience, which, if they did, I think they would get more backlash than just saying, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Right? Like... A company that knows its audience, a recipe for success. Imagine! VAllure is based on a previous established method that worked fantastically, and I want to ensure the success of anyone who is willing to take the risk to join under me, join under the company, and share the vision that is what VAllure is going for, Strony said. So at this point in time, no, it will always be female for male content, and I can't see that changing at this point in time. VAllure says straight up no to female for female content, as the agency says it cannot ensure success if it creates content for queer women. That's just being honest! That's just being realistic! Are these people so used to companies like bending the knee to them that when someone's just like, yeah, our audience is mostly male, we cannot guarantee you success as a streamer if you make content geared towards women? Like, what? That's just actually insane to me. Please, I beg, live in reality. VAllure doesn't allow female for female content. Girl, this is why I'm doing lewd tubing for lesbians, because lesbians deserve adult material too. Oh, I'm gonna show you the content that he does for lesbians. I'm gonna show you the content he likes to do. So let me get this straight. Erotic content of young girls is fine. They're adult women. But lesbian content goes too far. What? This is particularly strange when you consider the popularity of female for female. Simply put, the genre is not only enjoyed by queer women, but straight men as well. Men commonly listen to female for female content for the same reason that men enjoy watching real-life lesbian porn, because it's about two women having sex. Wow! It's almost like I just said earlier that if they made that kind of content, it would have to be inherently sexualized towards a straight male audience, which would be fetishizing, which would bring them more controversy than just saying no in the first place. But leave it to a man to say, obviously, straight men are going to enjoy watching female for female content. They love watching two women have sex. Thank you for making my point. This is doubly the case when it comes to fetish material like bondage, feederism, giantesses, and vor, where the premise is more important than the gender of its performers. How did we go from, like, more normal things like feet and anal to talking about feederism, giantesses, and vor? Could it be that these are this man's fetishes? We'll find out in a couple of tabs. Also, female for female isn't illegal in various European countries. That's a plus, too. But female for female is illegal in other various countries, like in the Middle East, or in the Africas, or in some Southeast Asian countries. What about them? What about them consuming the content? But let's stop talking about men for a second here. Content oriented toward queer women is very popular in the ASMR space, thanks to the explosion of female for female and female for anyone content creators on Reddit's Gone Wild Audio. Hey, that's where I pulled up that script I was reading earlier. In just 5 years' time, GWA's sister subreddit, RGWA Sapphic. I feel like the word sapphic is always a red flag whenever I see it. And I can't help but remember that, like, weird sapphic furry person that was outed for some, like, real weird shit. I can't even remember what they were outed for. I just remember that they were, like, a big fucking controversy for, like, 2 years, man. Our GWA Sapphic gained 137,000 followers. I post on GWA Sapphic myself, and I can attest to its immense viewership. My most popular audio on the site, a trans girl for cis girl yandere breeding audio. It's 18,800 listens. Oh boy, chat, you're in for a treat. That makes it more popular than one of Mercy Modistay's top Yandere ASMR audios. Yandere forces you to love yourself. To quote the old adage, if you build it, they will come. Okay, there's many things weird here, alright? Like, if you want to create content geared for females, like, sure, you can do that, but, like, you can't force a company to do that. Especially if, like, that's not what they want to do. Forcing them to do something that they don't want to do is weird. And you can say, like, sure, but I'm just one content creator that they hire out of all of their talents. But again, that's where the other lady came in and said, we can't guarantee you success. Right? They're saying, like, if you come here and you do this, we cannot guarantee that you will be successful. Oh, God. Come. Sorry, I meant come. Look at how funny they are. No doubt there are more men out there listening to female for male content than there are queer women enjoying female for female. But what makes female for female incorrect for the method, while literal lollies are a-okay? Because you're selling things to weeb men. Like, sure, there could be a market for female, but this company doesn't want to do that. So, like, if you want to do it on your own, maybe you can be successful, go for it, create the content you want, right? Be happy. But, like, don't force it on a company. That makes no sense, especially when you consider the popularity of the female for female genre among listeners across genders. Even in spaces where female for female and female for anyone are highly disliked, it's not uncommon to see listeners request the occasional lesbian pairing with talent. Boys want to watch girls kiss each other, among other things. And it's an open secret that a lot of the VAllure talent are queer women. At the bare minimum, bring on talent for a female for female focused model or something. It would do numbers. Shouldn't that be telling to you? Right? If you're gonna say that a lot of the VAllure talent are queer women, if you're gonna say that these are like bisexual or lesbian women doing content for men, and they're telling you we don't want to do content geared towards women because that's not what gets us paid, shouldn't that be like an alarm bell in your mind, maybe? I don't know. Appeal to my fetishes or else. Yeah, it's very weird. It makes me feel weird reading this. Did Anna just assume their sexuality? Probably, right? Maybe it's an open secret. I have no idea. I have no idea what the sexuality of any of the VAllure girls are because, again, I don't watch them. It's not content geared towards me. The VTuber agency that continues to disappoint. As for that lewd game in the works, Gen 2 auditions open today, and if you want to play as one of 3 remaining non-lolly talents, the opportunity is yours. But things are not looking particularly flattering for the world's first VTuber agency. The lack of professionalism, the lack of sensitivity, and the fans drawing illegal content. Why bother? Oh man, this fucking journalist thought that they were cooking. But in fact, they were just serving for their competition. To be clear, Stronia's talent... Oh, here it comes. Here, chat, remember how I tell you, anytime you see someone typing the like, I like Kirsche, but... And everything after that is just like the most asinine shit you've ever read. Like, they try to pretend that they're a fan and that they like you because they just spent like an hour denigrating you. This is exactly what this is. To be clear, Stroni is talented. I have a lot of love for Mercy as a fellow yandere myself. And I do legitimately enjoy Shibi and her content. We're both degens for Fudanari, after all. But even though I want the best for the girls piloting the non-lolly models, yeah, fuck the petite women. I can't support what's going on at VAllure in good faith, nor do I think you, dear reader, should apply for Gen 2. Even if you want to be in that lewd video game really, really badly, which I won't be playing if there's lolly content. TLDR, just make 33% of the company Fuda instead, VAllure. That would be so much better. Once again, coon-brained Fuda enjoyers ruining everything for everyone. Fuda enjoyers get the bullet too. I can't support. Bitch, you were not invited. A brother thinks he's part of the team. I like how this sentence right here is like thinly veiled. I really wanted this and was told no, so now I'm seething. Now I'm seething. So we're gonna scroll all the way back up to the beginning here. This is a fucking long seething article. Rima had a tweet here. She said, the VAllure hit piece made by Vice is utterly ridiculous. Not only does it contain more ads than a damn porn site, it almost made my phone crash. It's one of the most condescending pieces I've read in a while. I'm not sure who the intended audience is for this, but it certainly isn't VTuber fans. And if the intent was to convince anybody, it definitely had the opposite effect. The VAllure girls are incredibly sweet and have navigated the space drama-free until now, which we're all grateful for. Unlike what the article wants you to believe. It's really sad and disappointing to see mainstream media try to tear down the hard work of these creators. I'll be talking about this in 30 minutes. This was the second, so this was a couple of days ago. And then she had a follow-up tweet. The journalist in question stopped by my stream. Of course, I'd like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, so I was willing to listen. I'm typically the same way, but there are certain people you absolutely do not give the benefit of the doubt to. There are certain people, especially journalists because they aren't people, that you don't give the benefit of the doubt to. And this article was nothing but salty coping and seething for not being included somewhere that this person wanted to be included in and felt that they were entitled to be included in. However, she didn't clarify anything besides asking me to look at her Twitter as proof that she's a fan of Shibby, and then saying, hold on, I'm hoping to explain myself. I thought she would talk on Discord, but instead she started her stream and proceeded to come back 3 times to ask me in my chat to watch it. Wild. I apologize for sidetracking the stream so much. We had other topics to cover, and a good chunk of it was spent waiting. Even if you wanted to give someone the benefit of the doubt, at the first moment that they like boot up their own stream to talk to you, that should show you, in fact, that they're operating in bad faith. If you, for some reason, didn't believe that they were bad faith already from just how shit that article was, like, there are some people that really need to learn journalists are scum. There's like 1% of journalists you can realistically trust. And even then, you have to be very careful. Isn't there a literal sin in the streaming community too? It's like, if the person in their chat was like, hey, if we're gonna have a discussion, can I start my stream, right? Then I would be like, okay, they're trying to be open. But if they're in your chat talking to you and then they just go and start up their stream and they're like, hey, come look at my stream, come watch my stream. You know, I want everyone in your audience to see my stream. Like that, no. That's a little fucky-wucky, as it were. And we had expert arm man over here also saying some stuff. We had to give an idea of the level of professionalism this journalist is working with, the quote below is taken out of context and chopped up into halves, which were then presented out of order. The full quote begins at 11:11 in the linked video and reads, "We're looking for female talents. Oh, but what if I'm," and we watched this a second ago, the butt of the joke was very obviously rules lawyers and professional contrarians, not transgender talents, as Valens attempts to imply. Upon reading the article, it's very clear that the issue that Valens has with VAllure is that they make female for male content in an industry where that is by far the most profitable niche. VAllure is a startup and a private business. If you're mad at that business for succeeding without catering to your own subjective criterion for what counts as fulfilling pornography, that qualifies as a personal gripe with the market, not a professional gripe with the company. Agreed, which is why that entire article is in bad faith to begin with. This is somebody who wanted to be a part of the company, who maybe got rejected, maybe didn't even reply because they didn't like the response they were given when figuring out if they should apply. If that's the case, please make your contempt for the contemporary state of VTubing clearer in the next article. The inclusion of VAllure in this one felt forced at best. VAllure has done nothing wrong besides know their audience and succeed without your blessing. True and real. 2 out of 10. The entire article should have been a blog post. No journalism was attempted. I'm gonna say, if we're talking about journalism, right, in the current year, this is what journalism is. There is no integrity in journalism, and it is just a bunch of salty, seething people writing articles about people and things they don't like. Which is why a lot of people have just disregarded games journalists in general. And then, Armchair Man made another post, receives criticism on the basis of their work, combusts hard-hitting journalism, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, this, the Anna Valens person completely combusted their Twitter account. It's no longer there. A lot of people did not archive links, which, like, please fucking archive things. Especially if it's, like, revolving around someone who is just seething infinite levels of salt archive their shit. Here's a tweet that was screen capped from Anna. You're a weird trans lolcow going after my precious LewdTuber VTuber agency. TLDR, journalists are less than human. Wow. It's like almost like this behavior from fans reinforces the issue with unprofessionalism that my article brings up. Anna is, in fact, a weird trans lolcow VTuber. That's, you know, that actually is what they are. Apparently people have been, documenting Anna for quite a while now for doing lots of weird shit, which we'll get into in a second. Oko saying, Anna's just mad VAllure does it better. VTubers are better than you. You know, Anna brought out the number friending first, so... Ozzy said, in their attempt to smear VAllure, Vice just gave them tens of thousands of dollars worth of free press. All because their salty writer got rejected from joining. I like that malicious attempts to cancel someone always seem to backfire and help the people getting canceled. Regular human beings are fucking sick of cancel culture. Your cancel culture only makes me stronger, as it were. And someone here said, wait, the writer was rejected. And someone else posted a screenshot here from February of VAllure saying only 1 week to go before our VTuber auditions open. And Anna Valens asking, auditions open to T-girl LewdTubers? Would love to apply. Feel free to DM me if you'd prefer instead. Wow! Who could have seen that coming? Who could have predicted this? That they were just salty. They were not invited to the club. No thanks. Wait, Vice is still a thing? You know, Vice should go back to writing articles about the coming of age donkey fucking instead of whatever the fuck this is, man. Imagine my shock. And I tried to search for this specific tweet, which again, archive your fucking links! But it wasn't on Archive today, and it wasn't on Ghost Archive, but thankfully, since someone posted it in Discord, I was able to get a screenshot of it. Quoting Mama Oko and saying that Anna's just mad. Anna responded, why would I be mad or envious? VAllure is locked into female for male. Even if I wasn't an established slash successful female for female VTuber and ASM artist, I'd still hate to do a job creating content I actively dislike. No matter the money, numbers, fame, etc. Female for male is not my thing. That's very interesting. That's very interesting, Anna, that you would say that in response to Oko saying you're salty. Really gets my almonds jogging. They're running at a breakneck pace, Anna, please. Says the not mad man who's not mad. So again, why do they want to join VAllure then? Imagine! Copacabana! I have a Blue Sky archive of Anna Valens here. Somebody archived their... I thought that was a worm. I have an archive of their Blue Sky thing here. And can you run from Giga Giantess Anna? A rumble in the distance draws close. I tower over your city, thousands of feet tall. Don't bother running. One lick of my tongue can wipe millions off the planet. Now stare in awe before your new goddess. What were those fetishes they listed in that Vice article seething about VAllure? What were the fetishes that they listed again? Boom, boom, boom. Your girl has arrived. Uh-oh. Waypoint hired a giantess VTuber. Imagine my shock. And because you know, the specialty farming area has slurs in it, I want to be careful. I want to be careful not to show slurs on stream, but they have some interesting things that were saved. So this person has been documented since 2019 as a lolcow. Apparently Anna became infamous from Gamergate and being like associated with Zoe Quinn and fucking Liz Fong Jones of Drop Kiwi Farms infamy. Which is interesting because once again, there was that other trans writer that Bridge has showcased that's also involved with Liz Fong Jones. It seems like all of these people somehow are connected to one another. That's very incestuous industry. Are you serious? Zoe fucking Quinn. Let me see if I can pull up one of the things that they had. A lengthy interview that Valens did with Gamergate supporter 2 years ago. Haven't re-listened, but there's one point where Valens says that Sarah Nyberg wasn't that bad and refused to elaborate further. Valens once DM'd me to ask me to comment on a Medium post I wrote, explained that everyone was misinterpreting it in the exact 180-degree wrong direction that I hoped she wouldn't. She misinterpreted it, I complained, mildly, on Twitter, and then I see stuff like this. We're gonna get to that in a second. These have all been compiled in the OP post. Oh my god, Sarah Nyberg! I know. It all comes full circle, chat! It's always about Gamergate! It's crazy! So, notable examples of Anna's body of work include masturbation is tough for trans women. I know firsthand. Don't judge a girl for what's between her legs. And it starts with President Trump's election. If there were no cis people in the world for 24 hours, here's what I would do, which besides low-key clickbait, reads like a personal blog post, including a selfie-like portrait to open the article. If you need a quick rundown on Anna's politics, here's the world-famous TERF cis girl breeding barn fantasy that was posted to Twitter. And I'm gonna just full screen this. This is the person that applied to be, or wanted to apply to be in VAllure. I don't know if they did apply or not, but we have that tweet of them showing interest.
In the future, there are a number of institutions that emerged originally as mutual aid projects and publicly funded tech ventures, but over time they gradually became these community-run institutions where if you are a trans girl or if you are trans feminine, you can go ahead and sign up for a reservation slot to an all-day access to one of many breeding facilities where you get to breed the shit out of that cis girl pussy. You can absolutely devastate that shit, fucking destroy it, murder it. It's done. Like, they have to cycle the girls out because that pussy is absolutely out of commission.
That not autogynephilia whatsoever. That's not a red flag in any way, shape, or form. That's a stunning and beautiful dysphoric person.
And so, this originally started as just your classic breeding facility.
That's rape. That's funny that you say that. Because, some of the seething V-tweeters, who decide that I'm a, racist, Nazi, transphobic piece of shit, also have decided to make rape threats. It's like, imagine that. Someone who's not dysphoric threatening a biological woman with rape. The feminine urge to rape other women, as it were. Really makes you think.
But it was expanded over time through a Kickstarter, actually. And again, a mutual aid project. So there's a lot of cis girls in tech that really supported the venture. God bless them. They're real co-conspirators for the
a lot of cis girls who supported the raping breeding farms of other cis girls, because it won't be them eventually. Little do they know.
And now we have breeding saunas. We have breeding bookstores, breeding movie theaters. Those are really nice. We have breeding adult schools.
As opposed to what? As opposed to what other kind of schools?
You have breeding esports arenas. Very fun. Impossible to do voice chat on. But
is that why women are bad at esports? They're too busy getting bread while trying to play?
Extremely engaging. It's kind of a mixture of your classic esports fair, but also whichever team nuts first loses. So there's double the fun and double the trial and error. This is something we're building. This is the future. This is what TERFs don't want. They understand that we're trying to build these breeding facilities, and it's really important for you to fund your local.
What are you listening to? A transgender VTuber journalist for Vice who wanted to join VAllure and is totally definitely not mad that VAllure said that, you know, they want people who sound feminine.
Trans girl top who is absolutely destroying that good pussy right now. Like, you need to give her the funds because she is the future. You know, it starts with just the breeding facility where everyone blockchains a contract and gets inside. Like, and it starts with the Mastodon server and the private. Hold
on. There's a second recording, chat. A second recording is about to hit your towers. And it's like, if he was gonna do like this weird fetish shit in weird fetish places, I would still call him an autogynephiliac. But like, why the fuck are you posting this on Twitter? What the fuck are you doing?
Instagram group chat where all the cis girls share their nudes so trans girls can get ready to go breed them when quarantine ends. But
it's and it's definitely not a fetish you have there to be in a group chat where biological women share their nudes with you simply because you are a trans girl and they all want to be bred by you. That's not, it's a,
the future that I want is I just want to live in a world where you can walk down the street and you don't even have to worry about whether you're going to be able to breed that good fucking macaroni in a pot puss. That's not a tall ask. And I think that's the future for all of us, is just destroying that pussy wherever you go, whenever you go. How
is this person successful with any sexy audio when this is the way they talk? Nobody wants to hear destroying that macaroni in a pot good pussy. Like, nobody talks like that. Nobody's like, yeah, I want to hear you pissing like you're sizzling steak on $1,000 grill, baby. Like, what is this? They don't write their lines.
More to say on this that I'm going to be saving for my private Patreon account. But absolutely, fund it. Visit your local trans girl, cis girl breeding facility. And also, if you ever get the chance to go to a cis girl, trans girl breeding facility where the trans girls get bred, wild time, definitely recommend it. Unfortunately, they're a little gentrified right now. There's a lot of real estate developers.
Yeah, the trans girl breeding facilities are too gentrified. That's the problem. Not the wondering how you're going to give birth through your penis because you don't have a biological vagina and ovaries with which to give birth. Like you have no uterus. Sorry, I know it's a fetish, but like. Sometimes, like, I don't know. Why are you bringing the gentrification into this if you're thinking about it in a fetish term? I don't understand. What the fuck is happening? This shit can't be real. Oh god, we need to make insane asylums great again. This guy basically wants to be the P. Diddy of trans girls. Moot really fell off after he sold 4chan,
I'm cashing on that shit. But, it's the future.
It's the future, chat. You just have to get on board with it. So there's a lot of backstory here that I just it's not really relevant. It's not really relevant. They started writing at like New Brunswick. They did Game Wars on YouTube. Started writing stuff for like Bitch Media, Femme Hype, The Establishment at Medium, Mary Sue. He was a Mary Sue writer. Started writing stuff for Daily Dot, the Daily Targum, Den of Geek, Game Daily, Game Per, Killscreen, Waypoint, and now Vice, I guess. Now Vice. Anna's inflammatory and truth-bending journalism has often resulted in the people on the receiving end to come out and refute the claims made against them. Wow, it's almost like the VAllure piece wasn't his first hit piece. Alt-left bloggers are lying to you on Demore, Stuffily Dot in response to alt-right gamers are lying to you on YouTube. So let me bring up a little screenshot here. So this is an article that Anna Valens wrote. It doesn't say the year. It doesn't say the year. This is 2018. Ian Miles Chong responding to the article saying, absolute jackasses you guys are at the Daily Dot. I'm neither alt-right nor am I lying about the GOG employee getting doxxed. Journalists lying about a person being doxxed. Imagine my shock. Imagine. And then there's another screenshot here of PK Parker Russell, which is a YouTube comedian with 136k subscribers at the time of writing this, replies to gamers take themselves way too seriously. My Sonic Fox video made the news. This is probably the most bizarre way I've ever seen the media spin something. They take me out of context to make me look homophobic. They associate my video with Gamergate and PewDiePie saying the N-word. And this is a Daily Dot article by Anna saying gamers can't take a joke. The gamer identity has ballooned in popularity since Gamergate's inception, but its supporters tend to take themselves a little too seriously, as opposed to the salty journalists who just go around lying and defaming people, apparently. There's another screenshot here of Sophia Narwitz. Anna, you once framed an article in such a way and misrepresented my words in such a manner that you tried passing me off as a bigot because I don't like Sonic Fox. So shut the fuck up, because to use your logic against you, you also target women in games journalism. And this is screenshots of Anna Valenz talking about their reporting and how they don't target women in games journalism, which, wow, their VAllure article sure is them targeting women. That sure is them targeting women, and not in the fun target women YouTube episodes I used to watch as a wee lass. Sophia's actually trans and dysphoric, not AGP. Yes, correct. And this is Jesse Singal quoting Sophia Narwitz. Sophia saying, a journalist, talking about Anna, who writes about Gamergate being a harassment campaign with every other one of her articles, is now starting a harassment campaign to berate a real journalist. Funny how that works. And then Jesse Singal said, Valenz once DM'd me to ask me to comment on a Medium post I wrote. I explained that everyone was misinterpreting it in the exact 180-degree wrong direction, and I hoped that she wouldn't. She misinterpreted it, and I complained mildly on Twitter, and then I see stuff like this. Journalism! How do these journos still have jobs? Seriously, who is paying for this content? I mean, in the same way that people like Alyssa Mercante was allowed to just run around and harass people and retain her job, the fact that people at Kotaku were able to go after Kabrutus and they were able to keep their jobs, it's all like an incestuous club, and it's getting kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. It's getting kind of silly. Anna also wrote a 36-page book called Belle and claims to be working on a sequel for the upcoming trans literature collection Resilience from Amazon. Despite being priced at $2, there are no reviews of the book to be found on Amazon or elsewhere online. In June 2019, Valenz has also released a hentai porn game called Blood Pack. This is the website, a little archive screenshot of the website. It's best played in full screen at 1080p. Blood Pack is a wonderful, sexy merger of some spectacular and evocative artwork and writing, shameless and raw, but fantastical and darkly comforting. 3 thumbs up, said 30 Helens. Blood Pact is a queer erotica twine series about a trans girl named Alexa who accidentally unleashes Felenia, a domineering trans succubus. The story follows their exploits as Alexa enters into a dom-sub relationship with Felenia and embraces their sapphic occult blood pact. Inspired by such works as Nadia Nova's Housewarming Gift and Instar Books' Nerve Endings, Blood Pact features an ongoing story arc with periodic installments. The first part, which is built entirely in twine, introduction readers into the main characters and their voracious sexual appetites. With writing by Anna Valenz and illustrations by Callie G, Blood Pact is an erotic love letter to Twine's hot, messy, and queer roots. Now, I'm not saying this person is completely delusional, but if you're gonna write an article attacking VAllure and their company and tell people that, like, even if you really want to be in their porn video game, you shouldn't, because they're bad, because I say so. Shouldn't you disclose that you might have a personal stake in that because you also have a porn video game? All right, like, I don't know, I feel like that might be a little bit of conflict of interest, as it were. But, you know, video games journalists don't care about that shit. It doesn't matter. Hold up! Succubi are only women? What do they mean by trans succubus? I mean, it's fucking fetish shit. I don't give a I don't care. I don't care what they're writing in their fetish shit, right? It's like, it doesn't matter. Imagine my shock that there's a conflict of interest. Sapphic shows up again, but none of the characters are actually women. Imagine! In August 2019, after a short-term outage because of a DDoS attack no one will remember, Anna officially claimed victory in the war against Kiwi Farms and wrote an article about it. Stalking forum Kiwi Farms went down after DDoS attack, owner claims, updated. By the way, Kiwi Farms, dubbed the internet's biggest community of stalkers by New York Magazine's Intelligencer, has just gone dark. One day after the website security provider Cloudflare pulled popular right-wing image board 8chan amid the El Paso mass shooting, an enormous distributed denial of service attack brought Kiwi Farms and its backups down. On Tuesday morning, Kiwi Farms' homepage was replaced by a message from its owner and administrator, Kirsche, better known on Kiwi Farms as Null. On the front page, he announced that Kiwi Farms was undergoing a sustained DDoS attack of 1 gigabyte for several hours. Or 1 gigabyte per second, rather. Kiwi Farms' 2 backup sites were also down at press time, despite being hosted without Cloudflare. I'm trying to sort out a long-term solution with them and other peers who can filter traffic more effectively, Moon wrote on the site's homepage. Moon said he does not focus on who or why created the attack, as he doesn't care about mad hoes or their mad hoe logic. But he asked users to donate money via cryptocurrency because it's far cheaper to launch a DDoS than to mitigate it. And also, cryptocurrency is like one of the only ways he can get paid. At least back then. I think now it might be like the only way he can get paid, because I'm pretty sure he's been denied pretty much fucking everywhere from payment processors at this point. Moon told the Daily Dot that he was contacted by a Russian extortionist requesting 3 bitcoins per month, or approximately $35,175. He declined to share a list of demands that he received before the DDoS, but shared a message from a Russian anti-DDoS service claiming it could withstand 100 terabits worth of data. Remains unclear if the two messages are connected. In this case, they want 3 bitcoins per month, which is preposterous. If I had 3 bitcoins to burn, I'd just buy better infrastructure. Kiwi Farms is a successor to the CWC forums, a site infamous for tracking and trolling internet celebrity Christine Weston Chandler. They're using his new name, better known as Chris Chan. While the Kiwi Farms community collects information on internet celebrities of all political followings and mocks them, the site has become notorious for its threads on left-leaning targets, including trans women, queer internet personalities, and marginalized game developers. So they only started caring when certain people started getting documented, is what they're saying, you know? Oh, wow, Chris is eternal, unironically. They just can't help themselves. Transgender game developer Chloe Sagal committed suicide in 2018 after facing sustained bullying by Kiwi Farms over 5 years. Kiwi Farms users misgendered her, dead-named her, and mocked her death. You can't force people to use your preferred pronouns, especially on the internet. Like, these people aren't under threat of, like, UK's dystopian law, as it were. Although recently I think Null put out something on Twitter that was basically like they can't offer service in the UK because UK people sent them something and they were just like, we're gonna start arresting people for what they post on your site. I might be misremembering it, but I think this was like a recent thing from the UK, and he's like, yeah, I'd suggest you use a VPN or some shit. If you try forcing people to do shit, you can almost 100% guarantee the opposite will happen. Yep. After the Christchurch mosque shooting, Moon posted the shooter's live video and manifesto to his site. More recently, he shared a leaked database containing the personal information of over 2,000 games journalists after it was accidentally shared by the Entertainment Software Association. Moon said the current downtime sucks because it hurts the community, given that it's a busy time on the internet. We do not have in-home DDoS protection, but I'm having trouble reaching my data center staff. I'm in talks with other people interested in long-term alternatives to Cloudflare, so it'll get sorted eventually. Other alternatives will include buying more capable hardware and just dealing with it myself.
Spicy cat raid? What the hell is this spicy cat raid?
I may end up crowdfunding for that, Moon told the Daily Dot before closing with a cryptic statement. People ought to be careful what they ask for. Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes people ask for things and they don't really realize exactly what it will get them. Update, just before 4 p.m., Kiwi Farms' main URL came back online. While certain services are still down, such as its search feature, users can post on the site again. At the time of writing, site's URL's backups remained offline. And I wanted to bring up this part because, FYI, I asked them about the disclosure. He said, I didn't notice this until we were back up and MSpecs brought it up, but you have a thread. This feels like it'd be something that would require disclosing in an article, wouldn't it? And Anna responded, good question. We've decided not to add it given my thread size and relative unimportance to the story. Would be necessary for, say, a piece exploring Kiwi Farm's history with transphobia, but not necessarily in a straight report on the site's status and whether it's up or down. I would think if you're upset about Kiwi Farms documenting things that you have said on Twitter, right? Because, like, everything I've read thus far is not private information. It was stuff that this person has posted either in articles that they wrote or on Twitter. I feel like if you're upset with that, that's something you should disclose when writing an article about a site that you have an inherent bias towards. Just like if you have a porn game and you're writing a hit piece against VAllure, maybe you should disclose that you are also the developer of a porn game. Null said, I don't usually share DMs, but I feel this is a diplomatic enough answer to share, though I feel the excuse is weak. It was clearly not just an article explaining the site is down and evaluating the technical aspects of keeping a website on the internet. I replied about Chloe and got this answer. And Null said in his DM to Anna, my only objection is the comment about Chloe Segal. Chloe Segal killed herself because the trans community basically dumped her. All the people who rallied to shut down the site after she set herself on fire were the same ones who canceled her and told one another to never let her live with them. Chloe's last words were about homelessness and mental illness in the US, but whatever ambitions she had with her suicide were set aside for the more politically tantalizing goal of making the forum look like it actually poses a danger to anyone. Now, I disagree with Null in the fact that the site doesn't pose a danger to anyone, especially more recently, where there are people who have been able to successfully use Kiwi Farms users as a personal army. There's a lot of summer going on, unfortunately. But, like, depending on what's happening, I don't like doxing. I've always been strictly against doxing, and obviously that's something that happens on the farms. I am vehemently against that, which is something that people who try to talk about me defending Kiwi Farms, making me a bad person, always forget. They always forget that. Null bans the schizos. Unfortunately, I think he lets schizos roam around a bit too much in current year. But, like, it's not my website. You know, not my clay, not my problem, as it were. There's a pack of jackals. They tear each other apart over the smallest things. Sad to see how hateful they are. It's just, like, I disagree with everything that Liz Fong Jones did to try and get Kiwi Farms taken down. And I maintain that it is an important part of an internet ecosystem where if people manage to get the farms taken down, it's only a matter of time before other sites are also attacked for similar reasons and similar criticisms. Like, you might not like certain things that are posted there, but if it is legal, then there's not much that can be done. There are things that I don't like that are posted there, obviously, but it's like, who fucking cares? I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. I think I remember, like, Null talking about, was it Rackets who, like, asked for things to get deleted from his thread? It's just like, it's a weird thing to do. It's a weird thing to do. And, like, there have been streamers who think that, like, they can cozy up to farms users and that will mean that, like, oh, they can get, like, better coverage on the farms or, like, you know, have things deleted if they wanted to. And it's like, that's not how that works. Then don't go there. Yeah, exactly. There's, like, one of the biggest rules that a lot of people seem to break that I have unfortunately come into contact with over the years, as, like, if you have a thread, it's probably in your best interest to not read it. You don't know you don't know much about the Kiwi Farms. Your comment is mostly about what happened to Segal. It seems like it happens often enough to notice a pattern. It's like, I can't obviously figure out how much, like, online bullying will affect a certain person, but, like, if you're reading things that are bad for your mental, like, go get help, right? Like, go get therapy, go talk to your friends, go do something, like, healthy for your mental. Like, these are just people on the internet. Online bullying is fake. It can definitely get mentally draining, like, don't get me wrong. And I think when people haven't done anything wrong and you start doxing those people, like, you just make yourself look like a jackass, right? Like, people who have done nothing wrong, people who, like, aren't committing crimes or, like, smearing people as a journalist. Like, I don't know why you would bother with them, but, like, whatever, man. That's just kind of how things are. You have to take steps to protect yourself, unfortunately. And then Anna responded here to Null correcting her about Chloe. because again, in that article, Anna wanted to claim that the farms was the reason Chloe killed herself, which not true. Note, it legitimately does take a toll to have... Oh, sorry. I forgot to read her text. Anna's text. Appreciate the feedback. I think Kiwi Farm's role is important to note since it legitimately does take a toll to have a thread. Although I agree that Chloe's situation is complicated because she wasn't a saint, which is why we linked out to the earlier reporting on her, i.e. where we mention Zinnia's own history with Chloe. Which is why we linked out to the earlier reporting. I agree, it takes a toll to have a thread. So it doesn't that reinforce his point, saying that maybe you should disclose that you had a thread, right? Null continued, note, it legitimately does take a toll to have a thread. This is first-hand experience that has informed the article, what information to include and what information not to include, and how to include it. The article on Chloe was by a different author, and I'd wager Anna was involved with that too as a first-hand source of information, and didn't disclose that either. Disclosure, the author of this article has been a topic of discussion on the Kiwi Farms. That's all it takes, to be honest. And I agree. I agree. Like, I can understand from the journalist perspective, like, if they mention it, it might draw more attention to it. But if you're going to write about the farms and you have an inherent bias about the farms, even with that worry, that's something I feel like you should disclose. Let me bring up Azehara's tweet again. So on Azehara's tweet and the reply to it, they responded in February 24th to the VAllure auditions. And here... YouTube channel got taken down. That's that. YouTube pulled all of my video essays, all of my ASMRs, all Twitch highlights. Very sad. I backed up everything in case of this and will begin preparing for step 2 tomorrow. Very likely to me that my channel was mass reported and YouTube decided to listen to the bigots. Now, if they're doing ASMR content, this has been a problem with VTubers for quite a while now. A lot of people's ASMR channels have been taken down. I think even some other ASMR VTubers like Vox Akuma have stopped doing specific ASMRs to avoid this happening to their channels, right? So I don't think this was a case of Anna being mass reported. I think this is just the typical ASMR issue that YouTube has been having. And this was March 25th. So this is after... Anna responded to the VAllure auditions, but before Anna wrote the hit piece on VAllure. Likely create a new YouTube channel for just video essays that pass muster. No ASMR uploads on YouTube anymore. My most important video essays are currently going onto the Internet Archive. Futanari are actually transgender. Fuda's relationship with trans women in anime and manga explained by Anna Valens. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you, chat. There's a little bit more of the fetish content here. Anna Valens posting on March 25th about a stream that they did.
And brown. And I almost hadn't chosen from the list, so you just like farting. Is it okay? Come on, see this. And then I would never to go to you.
I don't know what this thing on the bottom is here, but this is like my expression the entire fucking time. Like, just, what is happening? Kirsche, have mercy. This is high quality. Yeah, it's binaural audio, man. High quality farting. High quality fart fetishing. This is a callback to the Harley Quinn fart comics. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm watching right now. Sorry, I hit the play button again. I was trying to unfull screen. Oh my god. And there's a addressing the YouTube ban and how it will affect all Giantess and Vor ASMR on YouTube, as well as other ASMR formats, live now. Bro getting drunk. This is why God doesn't talk to us anymore. Thank you, Sergeant Buck. And Anna reposted someone once again blaming Jesse Singal, apparently. I don't know who the fuck Jesse Singal is or what these people's like vendetta against him is. Anna has a screenshot here, I guess. The year is 2028. The United Soviets of America have emerged, run by groups of 12 to 14 trans women who all initiate breeding facilities. It's the fucking breeding facilities again, where we high-five each other while spit-roasting cis women. We call it the gender crit wet pussy carousel, now with less respectability politics. An autogynephiliac wanting to rape women. Imagine my shock. Noah Fuel Gaming says all this happened because the serious journalist Jesse Singal decided to take a shitpost about gooning from 5 years ago to harass a trans person. Fuck Jesse Singal and fuck anyone who defends him and calls him a serious journalist, including Aaron Blue Sky. I don't know who Aaron at Blue Sky is either. But also, like, if you want to do your weird fucking women breeding camp porn, do it on a porn site, you know, do your weird ASMRs there. Why are you posting about it on Twitter? Why are you bringing this into the public, man? And then there's another tweet here. We now have definitive proof that the very serious journalist Jesse Singal has harassed someone. Anna has been harassed. BC Singal used a shitpost she made 5 years ago to paint her as a predator and using her as evidence to support her his transphobia. Is it a shitpost if they actually made, like, the videos? Is it a shitpost if it's actually something that they said, like, they want to do and write about? That doesn't sound like a shitpost. That isn't even, like, director's thinly veiled fetish. That just is their fetish. Then, Anna said, full stream with explanation on the future, whether Jesse Singal was responsible, TLDR, no, and why I was banned from YouTube. I'm glad that Anna said that Jesse Singal was not responsible, because once again, I don't think this was any kind of mass reporting or targeted reporting. A lot of VTubers have had issues with their ASMR channels. YouTube has been cracking down on ASMR artists in general. So it was only a matter of time until this person's ASMR videos got hit, especially because these are, like, overtly sexual. Apparently, Anna offers advice to anyone else who wants to get banned on YouTube. Let me wake up and get a bagel, then I'll go live. In the meantime, my YouTube channel going dark means everyone now has full permission to upload any of my video essays onto YouTube or anywhere else. Monetize and remix them. My video essays are now officially public domain content. I think it would be funny if, in response to YouTube banning me, a bunch of people just uploaded a ton of my content back onto YouTube here and there. The video essays are probably fine to upload, but, like, it's the sexual content that YouTube's been cracking down on, man. Here's a post on March 28th. March 28th was just a few days before Anna wrote that article on VAllure. Been waiting to announce this, now it's time. Extremely proud to announce I'm joining Vice's Waypoint as a reporter. That's right, returning to my roots, writing about video games daily, and yes, I plan to cover the 18 plus and indie side of games, not just AAA. Apparently, they could not resist hit-piecing VAllure. More to share soon, excited to be back. Past year's been exciting but turbulent. VTubing is my passion, but as many of you know, I've struggled financially and missed being part of the games industry. I've learned a lot as a VTuber and want to return to the games media industry with a new, fresh perspective on gaming. I've chatted with Waypoint's incredible managing editor and feel big things are coming to the vertical. Big things I want to be a part of. I see my future as not just a VTuber, not just a games reporter, but a games reporter VTuber. Stay tuned for the incredible road ahead. Which, you know, I'd be all for a games reporter VTuber. Unfortunately, this person started as a journalist, which means they are inherently untrustworthy, and they've shown themselves time and time again to report in a biased and not truthful manner. Also, does this make me the first VTuber games journalist? No, I don't really think so. I feel like there's plenty of VTubers who talk about gaming news. They just don't call themselves journalists, man. We can just say you are and not likely to get a lot of pushback. That's true! Person with giant nose ring? Nobody cares about VTubers, so you can probably claim a lot of firsts and most people won't correct you. They're asking, this is also kind of ridiculous, right? The only way to get YouTube's attention is to fucking post about it on Twitter, man. Like, that's so fucking silly that the only way to get help with your YouTube account if something happens is to just make a fuss about it and hope enough people respond on Twitter. That is fucking crazy, man. For some reason, we're posting about Keffels in March 2025. Anna said, I reached out to Clara to welcome her back, and I want to +1 that her remorse is genuine. She knows she messed up. This is why I stressed on stream to let her cook, let her stream, see what happens. I'm willing to extend a second chance. I do think she will demonstrate growth through her actions. Yeah, I'm just not willing to care about someone who took thousands of dollars for drugs and also made bathtub hormones. I just, I understand if others do not feel the same way. I respect that fully. I think it's important to watch her and see how her behavior and approach has changed. In my honest opinion, she'll demonstrate that she's changed her approach to others, social media, and criticism by her actions. TLDR, give her time to show she's changed. That isn't demonstrated in a day. I think it's understandable that many won't trust her, but I believe she's ready to show she worked on herself and won't do the shit she did 2 years ago. And then Brianna Wu also gets a mention here. We're getting all the all-stars back on the team. Anna said, Brianna likes money and attention. That's it. Imagine Carmela from The Sopranos, but if she was also a transsexual. I thought that was a bad word in current year. I thought you're not supposed to use that word. And enjoyed being on Fox News. And this is a quote retweet of someone saying, I'd like to know what exactly motivates the sycophancy here. Brianna Wu said, let's try this again, in good faith. She's here on a green card where it is explicitly said in law you are not fully protected from deportation. Serious crimes or immigration violations can still get you deported. She did that. She took over a building. People got hurt, and it was for Hamas, which is explicitly designated a terrorist group. She was arrested in a polite and nonviolent way. What am I missing? Why are y'all so upset by this? What is this fucking timeline where I agree with something Brianna Wu says? What is this clown world adaptation? I feel if Brianna was placed in a paper bag, she'd call it woke, say we should bomb it from the moon, pass out, and ask her rich husband to bail her out. Imagine deviating from the cult by even 1 degree. Whether Brianna Wu is just grifting because they see the direction that politics is turning in and they want to still make money, or this is like a actual like turncoat kind of thing. The fact that the immediate thing is to just like insult them is kind of crazy. Politely detaining terrorists who's just taken the Ian Miles route to save themselves. That's what I feel like is probably happening. But, we'll see. We'll see. I was just like... Imagine thinking that Keffels is being genuine and then calling Brianna Wu a grifter, though. Like, but... what is going on? So that was a little interesting thing on Anna Valens and some of their funnier blue sky posts here. Again, archive your shit, baby. Anna Valens said, I love being held hostage by VT posters. I love it. And I feel like if you're someone who was like complaining about Kiwi Farms and participating in like the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, you should know better than to like mention these things publicly. If you talk about being held hostage by VT, you're just gonna rile the fucking hive, man. And in addition to that, apparently the only mention of them on VT was like 1 post. I had to like go look for their name and I could only find 1 thing. So I don't know what they mean by VT posters holding them hostage. Like, are they talking about the VAllure girls being held hostage by VT posters? Cause like, I also don't think that's true. I don't think the only audience for like lewd female for male ASMR are 4chan posters. That is a weird thing to say. We have another post here. I've been posting in the subreddit and it's fascinating. A lot of people just downvoting comments because woke vice journalist clearly is jealous. Very angry man claims he's not angry for millionth time. And this is in response to someone saying, so if any of you saw that Anna Valens article I reposted, the one about VAllure, I decided to test something by also posting it on the Kuro Sanji subreddit. One of the few big places to talk about the more serious aspects of VTubing that isn't 4chan or Kiwi Farms. The results were not surprising. Even Reddit hates Vice. And Anna Valens openly saying that they've been posting there and it's fascinating. It's really funny. This is another tweet of Mama Oko here. I think I showed this earlier. Maybe. I can't remember. But if it's another one. Mama Oko saying Anna's just mad at VAllure doing it better. Anna says, be an established female for female ASMR performer. Be an established lewd tuber. Be a professional VTuber journalist. Check Twitter. Right-wing grifter says, I'm jealous of an agency with professionalism problems. Reaching so hard, it might, in fact, throw one's back out. Calling Oko a right-wing grifter is fucking crazy. Like, an actual insane. Everyone who disagrees with me is right-wing. Oh my god. How is Oko a right-winger? Everyone these people don't like is a right-winger. And this is why, like, you know, I understand wanting to extend the olive branch and, like, giving people the benefit of the doubt. This is absolutely someone who does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Anna, not Oko, to be clear. Anyone else who comes into my mentions to actually me about Lolly is blocked. You know my policy. Unless anything else develops, I'm done discussing about this. It's been 4 days and I'd like to move on. A person way smarter than I once told me, you will get nowhere discussing Lolly. It is a conversation that no one will ever agree on, and it's better to just probably not bring it up as often as possible. And it's like, I agree with that. Not even for any sort of, like, harassment reasons, but it's like, no one's going to agree on a definition in current year. That's why anytime I do talk about it, I bring up Azure Lane, and I'm like, there's a difference between petite woman and literal fucking child. I think Azure Lane illustrates that very fucking well. But it's just like, I'm gonna call out companies when they use lollies for marketing and then try to virtue signal about how they hate lollies and lollies are disgusting. Looking at you, Opera. You're an actual journalist. I understand my bias and put it aside to get to the truth and are not ideologically captured like most people on Twitter. I mean, I try my best. I want to present, like, accurate information. Sometimes I've been, like, wrong on things and I issue corrections, and it's like, that's the best I can do. That's the best I can do.